Hey everyone, welcome to our tutorial regarding the dashboard. So right off the bat, you guys, you can see we've made some obvious changes, right? So we have the network health sitting on top of the page. As currently in our system, it's on the right side. We put the network health in what they call an accordion. An accordion allows you to collapse it, which gives you obviously more room to see your players, or you can expand it. The goal of sort of putting up top is we wanted to provide a little bit more information that should be useful for anyone whose job is to manage these players. We kept the network health, of course, but we did introduce a new widget. It's called the offline players, and the goal of this is to tell you obviously how many players you have offline. So this is saying, hey Michelle, you have 12 offline players. Just know that I'm in my test facility as well, so I've got players online, offline all the time. But it is telling me that I've got 12 offline players, and then it's actually telling me which ones are the most recent ones that just went offline, right? So that allows me to obviously make any action, plan or anything like that I would need to if I was someone in IT or if I was managing these players. So it's saying that hey, this one just was offline for 22 hours. This one's 4 days ago, 5 days ago, and so on. Um, this is not built yet, but if you hit the view all, what's going to happen is this table is going to filter and it's going to show the 12 offline players on the top. Again, the goal of this is to just kind of streamline for anyone who's managing, the player network or managing these players to just find these offline players and just get them back online. Um, versus kind of going down this rabbit hole of like trying to find and scrolling down these tables, right? So we're just trying to streamline that process. We do have one more widget that we are going to build. I will update the tutorial, of course, once that is updated. All right, I'm going to expand this. So players table, again, as a default, it's going to be alphabetized A through Z by the player name. We have the player name, we have the status column, location, player type, and then we have the actions. Reboot, screenshot, refresh, of course, if it's a Windows player. This degraded right here, you can completely ignore that. Again, you're under a sort of my root user permission, of course, and then you're under a sort of a test. I didn't really have a great facility to kind of do these tutorials under, so I'm just kind of doing my test one. But you can completely ignore this one right here. A couple other things you guys just want to kind of call out is you can search for a player, right? Otherwise, if you are a person or a facility or an account that does have a lot of offline players, does have a lot of players, you are going to see a pagination right here. So page 1 and page 2. Down below, we can change that to show from 10 players to say 50, and then that will single it down to 1 player. And this again will just tell you how many you have, how many pages you have. So so that's kind of the overview of how the table works. One more other thing, or I guess a couple other things, is if you do select a couple players, we do have this drop down. So you're going to see this throughout the system. This is going to be very consistent. You can call it a drop down. The technical term, if you want to sound real cool, is called a drawer. A drawer drops down and you'll see action items. So the first thing you can see right here on the dashboard is the restart or reboot, depending if it's like a BrightSign player, selected players. So we're still building this button out, okay? But the idea behind it is that I could select my players. The players that are online, this is going to allow me to do a bulk action. It's going to allow me to refresh or reboot all the players that I have selected and are online instantly versus having to kind of go one by one. So that's kind of the idea behind that. Some other things here, we have the switch to legacy experience. So this is going to allow you, again, at any point, it's going to allow you to go back to the current CMS that you all are familiar with. The facility account down here, some of you may be part of multiple facilities. I just want to call out that we are actually still building this out. So it does look like it's working, but that's just kind of fooling you. We're actually still working on that. So no need to touch or play around with that. Navigation here, so you can see that we've sort of reorganized the navigation. The goal of that, obviously, was just to kind of clean up, obviously, all the applications we have, but also try to help our users explain what each one does. And some of them kind of work together. So yeah, that was kind of the goal behind that. But if you do click on one, you are going to get this placeholder sort of just saying like, hey, we haven't built it yet. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you don't have permissions to it or anything like that. It's just the team hasn't obviously built that. But the good news of you being part of beta is you're going to be the first. You're going to be able to get your hands on it before anyone else, and so that's kind of nice. And again, I do appreciate you all being part of that beta group. This button too will also bring you back to the legacy. So you kind of have two ways. That's what we're calling it, legacy. You can click the button up here, or you can click on this button. Either one is completely fine. So that's just a run through of the dashboard. As always, you guys, if you have questions or anything, definitely reach out. Otherwise, hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.